Making homemade Danish pastry from scratch is a game changer. The combination of rich flavors and flaky texture is simply irresistible. Imagine sinking your teeth into a buttery sweet pastry that's both crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. Many people think that making Danish pastry is too difficult or time consuming for home bakers. I used to think that too, until I gave this recipe a try. The truth is, it's not as complicated as you might think. With a few simple ingredients and some patience, you can create a stunning pastry that's sure to impress. We are going to start off by making our dough, and I'm just going to go in with a little bit of my sugar, just a little drizzle, 1.5 cup of lukewarm milk, and while I'm doing this, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of yeast. So we're going to leave this to sit for 10 minutes and then we're going to come back. Our yeast are awake. Add 3.25 cups of pastry flour or all-purpose flour. I am adding 5 tablespoons of butter, cold butter. I am adding 1 egg, which is optional, but it gives a very good texture. And I'm adding 2 teaspoons of salt. We're going to also add the rest of our sugar, which amounts to 1/2 cup. We are going to mix our classic Danish with a spoon, and then we're going to move on to mixing this on our countertop to the 3rd stage of dough development, because we want the gluten to form so that it stretches and stretches and can be folded over and over into the layers of butter, because we are going to be laminating this. Danish is similar to croissants, but the Danishes are more sweet. So let's flour our surface, and we're going to throw out our batter. We are going to be mixing 1 cup of flour in. It's now at the 2nd stage of dough development, and we're going to mix it all the way to the 3rd stage, and this is going to take about 8 minutes. It's about done now. And we're just going to roll it into a nice little ball. And we're going to put it in a nice clean bowl. Place it in the refrigerator, wrapped for 1 hour. We are going to make our butter block, and usually I will use an 8x8 pan, or I will use a parchment paper method. But if you are inexperienced, then a parchment paper method will be a bit difficult for you. And an easier option is to use a film and a baking pan 8x8 or 9x13. We're going to add room temperature butter to this. And I just like to make sure that it's in the center. Cover it over again. And this way I can press in the butter as thin as I would want it. The plastic wrap just gives me a greater control when using my hand. So we're going to fold everything down, flip it out, and this is where I like to use my rolling pin and just make it nice and even. Keep this shape. Place it on a flat surface so that it maintains the shape, and then we're going to put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. Our dough has doubled in size, and we're going to uncover it using a little bit of dusting flour. I'm going to give the surface a really light dust. Pour out our mixture. We're going to give the top a light dusting as well, and we're going to start shaping it into a rectangle. And we're going to roll it out. We want the rectangle to be wider than our pan. But we're going to make it double the length. We have our block of butter, and as you can see, it's very flexible, and that's what you want. So we're going to take it out and place it in the center, and we're going to pull it together. Remove the plastic to the center, side up to cover it over. I'm just going to roll out the sides. Give it a light dust to make sure that it's not tearing as you're working with it, because the layers are going to collapse. Make sure that you are getting the air out. And I'm going to push all the air out through this hole. This is our first fold. And we're going to give it a double book fold. Place it on a lightly floured tray, and we're going to put it in the fridge covered in plastic wrap for 30 minutes. We are going to do our second roll and fold. And we're going to dust our surface again. It's nice and chilled. And what we are going to do, the side that is rolled and folded, that is the side we are going to be folding in. While our Danish dough is resting in the freezer, we're going to make our fillings for our Danishes. So we're going to use 1/4 of a whole cream cheese, 1 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar, and we're just going to mix it and we're going to combine it. So we're going to be using 2 different types of fillings for our Danish. We're going to make Danish spiral, and we're going to be making braided, and I already haven't decided the third one as yet. And because I'm mixing it by hand, this is good enough. You have 2 options to use the cream cheese. You can put it in a piping bag, or you can scoop it with a spoon, and we're going to be using strawberry jam. You can also use a piping bag or use a spoon. For our swirls, we're going to be using cinnamon sugar, This is 1 tablespoon of sugar to 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. And we're going to be using some raisins. Once your dough has rested to a minimum of 3 hours in the freezer, you want to begin to use it. But this dough I made overnight and I made ahead of time. I am cutting my pastry into 3 different pieces because I am making 3 different designs. As you can see the layers inside, you want to flour the top and the bottom of your pastry and you want to roll it out. For the first one, we are going to be doing a cinnamon swirl. You want to brush some melted unsalted butter on top of the pastry. And for this entire recipe, I am using unsalted butter. And now I am going to sprinkle the cinnamon sugar all the way around in a square. I am leaving just about a half of an inch excess all the way around. Once you have added your cinnamon sugar, you want to distribute your raisins inside. These are Thompson raisins that I am using. The type of raisin that you will use, it really doesn't matter. It's just about your personal preference. Once it has distributed, we're going to roll it up tightly. And most of you may have seen my currants roll recipe. You can check out the recipe for currants roll on my channel as well. And this is just a similar procedure. You want to roll it tightly into a log. Squeeze, and now we're going to cut it into about 8 cinnamon swirls. What I normally do is to saw the top to get a cut and then I press. This is the last one we're going to do on camera. To lock it in, you want to stretch the end and place it under the swirl, and that's when you want to place it on a tray. For our second design, this is one of my favorite ones because the outcome is always so beautiful. This is another type of braid. You want to cut your dough into 4, at least 1.5 inch in width. Make sure you get some nice thick pieces because you need a thickness to see the layers after it has been baked. And we're just going to use our pastry cutter and we're going to cut it in the center, leaving about 1 inch at the top and at the bottom. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, give the video a subscribe. And this is one of the ways you can help me to grow and to make more content. Now you're going to braid the top inward and you want to braid the bottom inward. So we are going to braid the top in, flip it over, and we're going to braid the bottom in, and that's how you're going to get these lovely braid. And we're going to do one more, the top, and then we're going to turn the bottom inward. Just like this. We're going to leave this to rest and to puff up on our tray. How simple was this? For the last one, we are going to be doing the regular Danish braid. We are going to trim the edges and make it into a nice clean square by cutting off the excess. I am using my rolling pin as a ruler. I'm not cutting off too much if I don't have to, just to make sure that it's nice and neat. And now we're going to just mark it into thirds. So into 3 pieces. Place your cream cheese filling inside, and as I said before, you can use a piping bag or you can use a spoon, but I'm using a spoon because this is a little bit on the bigger side. Spread it out, and I'm adding some strawberry jam over the cream cheese. You can use any jam, grape jam, orange marmalade, any flavor that you wish. And on the ends of it, I am going to go down on a bias and I'm cutting 1-inch strips all the way through. You want to remove the two top pieces because you want a nice clean braid. Fold the bottom and the top, and now we're going to braid it just like this. It's pretty easy and pretty simple to do. This is the last part, and the end of it we're going to just tuck it underneath. Now you want to give your pastry a nice egg wash. I simply use some egg yolk and a little bit of milk to do this, and you will find all the recipe amounts in the description box below. You want to make sure that you are brushing all the pastries, and even if a little bit of egg wash goes onto the filling, that's totally fine. It's even better. Now we're going to brush our cinnamon swirl. This is the outcome. You want to bake this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, especially these braids. We're going to bake them half the way through, and then we are going to be adding our filling. Once they are just beginning to become golden brown, and we're going to pop them in the oven once they are done. Overall, we're going to be baking these for about 40 minutes at 350, and that's just the way my oven works. Your oven and the brand may vary. For this one, I am using cherry jam. After 40 minutes, this is the outcome, and I'm just going to give them a brush with a glaze. And you can enjoy these for breakfast. You can enjoy these as a light snack. I especially love to enjoy these with some coffee. I've dusted these braids with a little bit of powdered sugar, and here we have our large Danish braid. We are going to use a little bit of icing, and we are just going to give them a nice drizzle of icing. If you enjoy making Danish pastries with me today, give the video a thumbs up or subscribe. Help me to grow my YouTube channel by sharing. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend, and see you in another one of my recipes.